In our previous videos, we've looked at how we can present data in different ways. Now we want to do some practice with being given that presentation and then answering some questions. So the first one says a group of adults were asked how many children they have in their families, and then we're given a bar graph. So our bar graph has the number of children as our horizontal axis, the different categories 0 to 5, and then the vertical axis is our frequency, the number who responded with that. So remember how we read this. The little 0 here means 0 children in the family, and the frequency goes up to 5. So 5 responded that they had 0 children, and so on down the line. So my question, first one, is how many adults were questioned? Well, we just went through and said, okay, this 0 is the number of children and the frequency is 5. So there were 5 families at least surveyed because 5 responded with that answer. So if we can figure out the frequency for all of these and add them up, we will have the total number who participated. So 0 we just said was 5. For 1, the frequency is 3. For 2, the frequency is 4. For the 3, the frequency is 2. No one responded with 4. And for 5, the frequency was 1. So I'm going to add up all those numbers, and that's going to tell me there were 15 adults surveyed in this particular project. The next question says, what percentage of the adults had 0 children? Okay, so that goes back to something old. To calculate a percentage, we want a part of the whole. And in this case, the part is the number who had 0 children. Well, again, that's 5. And the whole was how many were surveyed. That was 15. So we're going to ask for what's the percentage for 5 out of 15. Well, that's 0.333 when we divide. We move the decimal over 2 places and determine that that's 33.3% of those who were surveyed. Let's try another one. Here we have another bar graph, but this one is different because it says it's the percentage of students who received each letter grade on their last English paper. Okay, so the frequency can be given as an actual number or as a percentage. Always look carefully, make sure you're understanding what's being presented to you. It tells us further that this class had 20 students in it. And the question is, what number of students earned an A on the paper? So we're going to look down here and find our category A. We're going to look up to see how high the bar goes, look over and recognize that's probably about 25%. We'll call it 25%. So we want 25% of our 20 students, right? 25% earned an A. We have 20 students in the class, so 25% of 20, which means I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to get an answer of 5 students. Let's try another one similar. This is a histogram, and the difference with this one, not just that it's a histogram, the bars are close together, is that it involves class intervals. Remember, we talked about that. So this is the categories here are not just a single value. It's actually like 100 to 149, 150 to 199, 200 to 299, etc. Okay, so that's got classes in it. So they're asking the first question, what's the number of trees in the class 150 to 199? Well, 150, and then find the frequency over here, 30. So 30 is the frequency for the 150 to 200 bar. So I'm going to say that's the 199. Next question. Oops. Well, you see the answer. What's the most common tree height in the survey? Well, you just look for the tallest bar, right? And then you look to see what category is that. Well, it starts at 250, it ends at 300. We know that the 300 can't be in both, so we're going to say 250 to 299 category. And then the next question. What's the total number of trees in this survey? Okay, that's very similar to that problem with the family and the number of children. Do you remember how we did it? Could you do it here? Go ahead and hit pause and see if you can answer this question. All right, let's see how you did. You have to do a little estimating on this one. That is one disadvantage on a histogram or bar chart, where they don't give you the actual number and it's not at one of the actual lines. You do a little estimating. So for instance, between 100 and 149, it's not quite, to me, halfway up. So I'm going to call that 4. And then the next one, looks like right at 30. The next bar, again, it's not quite at half. To me, it looks a little more than half, so I called it 26. Now, if you called both of those 5 and 25, we're going to end up pretty close to each other. That's okay. All right, the next category, the fourth bar, is up at 50, and then the last one is just over the 10, so I called that one 11. And when I added them up together, I got 121. All right, I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.